Who's your favorite actor to work beside? And I guess why is it Cosmo the space dog?
For the first time ever, I've worked it out in my contract that my dogs have to come with me. Don't want to pat myself on the back, but I think probably one of the kindest, most gentle people that most people will ever meet.
Do you think you still have what it takes to Bautista bomb someone?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Cut the camera. I don't want anybody to see this. Let's go. Come on.
Oh, my goodness. Look at them all. Do you mind if I pet your dogs?
No, not at all.
What are their names?
That is Penny. That's Maggie. This is Ollie. And that is Tallulah.
Oh, my goodness. I'm so sorry. What's your name?
Dave. We were called and are united by a common vision.
She liked when I made monkey noises.
Oh my God!
Really?
Do you mind if I join you on your walk?
No, come on. You can help me. In Florida weather.
Oh. So you adopted all of them?
Yeah, they're all rescues.
What's the time frame of them all? Like, you got Tallulah last.
I got Tallulah last, and she's about 6 months old now, and I got her about a little over 3 months ago. And then Penny she'll be 2 this fall, and I got her, about a little over a year ago. The older ones, Ollie and Maggie, I got back in, I think, 2019, fall of 2019, and they're about 10 years old now.
All rescues, right?
Yeah, they're all rescues.
Did you ever think about getting like a tiny Chihuahua as a bit?
Yeah, I did. And it, they're so big, and like even with Penny was she was kind of playful and rambunctious, and they didn't know how to interact really with puppies, so they were just really rough with her, not aggressive or vicious, but they weren't aware of their size, the size difference, and I would be afraid for a little dog's safety, not because they would attack them, but I think they would just be too rough, and so I was just worried. I think for my own amusement, I'd love to have a little tiny dog just to see their interaction. But I wouldn't put a tiny dog in harm's way. I couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. Luckily enough, they learned so much from working with Penny. When Tallulah came, they knew how to interact with her and be gentle. And
oh, that's great.
Yeah.
They're all so sweet.
Yeah.
They're doing great too.
Yeah.
What made you so passionate about rescuing? You're a big advocate online and otherwise.
I don't know. I guess it's just, I love dogs, and it just kills me to see that so many, lovable dogs just need homes. And, I don't understand when people would go out and buy a pet that's been bred and everything when there's so many lovable dogs that just need homes. And, it kind of confuses me. I believe firmly in adopt, don't shop. I think there's definitely something in my subconscious that relates to Pitbulls because they're misunderstood. Mm-hmm. And I think people judge them by their appearance, which has been my case, my whole life, because I've been a bigger guy, and I'm a little rough around the edges, and I look intimidating, but I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I think probably one of the, kindest, most gentle people that most people will ever meet. Mm-hmm. I definitely don't like to intimidate people. I'd rather people be comfortable around me than be intimidated by me.
Of course.
But I'm sure that professional wrestling didn't help that. Which was one of my biggest challenges breaking into Hollywood, because I think people slapped a stereotype on me because of my wrestling persona. But it just wasn't who I was at all. I was playing a character, mm-hmm. Just like I do in films. But I also like big dirty dogs that I can interact with, and and just have fun with, and sometimes they're kind of goofy, and I don't know. I guess it's just you could probably see the similarities with the dogs and myself. So it's just they're like my kids, they're like my family.
They must love it out here.
Yeah, this is like so great. This is why. So I had 3 older dogs. I've lost 2 of them since, and the other one's with my ex. But this was the reason I bought this property. Why I wanted this property is for the dogs, and the house too, because my other house had like wooden floors. My dogs destroyed it, and this house it's all block and steel and it's indestructible. It's perfect for dogs. So I really based my life around my dogs.
We are thrilled to mention that this episode of We Walk Dogs is brought to you by Brooks Running. They have footwear options to fit your life on and off of a run, and they're the only shoe you should ever walk your dog in. Is that too aggressive? They're a really, really good shoe to walk your dog in. Brooks' motto is run happy. They believe every day with a walk or a run is better, especially with your dog. I'm wearing the Glycerin Stealth Fit, a shoe designed for total comfort regardless of my pace. Huge thank you to Brooks Running for making this episode possible. We are so glad your team loves dogs just as much as we do. You guys ready? I lift your paw. Thank you so much.
Oh, you want your close-up? Okay.
Penny, come. Good girl.
So you've always had pit bulls?
Not always. For the last 15, 16 years, I've had pit bulls. I had, a mixture of dogs. When I was younger, we had Great Danes, we had poodles.
Really?
Before my pit bulls, I had Yorkies. I had Yorkies and a Silky. I've always had a dog or two or three, but yeah, pit bulls just, I think about 15, 16 years now. Been strictly kind of pit bulls.
And you have tattoos of a couple of them, don't you?
Yeah, a few of them. Some of my older dogs, a couple of them have passed away. But yeah, I have tattoos, and I plan on getting their faces as well. So I'm probably gonna have like a full leg full of puppy faces.
Yeah, I've got my dog's ears.
Yeah,
He's got one wonky one.
Such a great idea.
It's definitely a special thing to memorialize him in that way.
I agree.
So we felt incredibly special and honored that you follow us on social media.
Yeah.
That was until we saw some of the other accounts that you do follow that are about animals. igpigs.lovers.
I love little pigs.
Penguin_.lovers and
penguins.
Pig Daily Fun.
Yeah.
So I guess that love extends to other animals.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if I could have penguins and little piggies, I would have them. Penguins I'm obsessed with. And, it's kind of one of my highlights of visiting Cape Town is we got to go and kind of interact with penguins because they're just out there on the beach, in their natural habitat. Yeah.
So what was it like being a part of the WWE?
It was amazing, man. It was amazing, but it was, it was hectic and it was stressful. It was hustle and bustle. It's a year-round television show, and it's also international, so we travel the world and don't really get a break. You don't go on vacation when you're a professional wrestler. I always had like a good work ethic, but it really just enhanced my work ethic. Like the grind of WWE is harder than anything I've ever done. So I always felt like once I did that for years, I always felt like, man, I can do anything.
Out of these guys here, who do you think would make a good tag team in the ring?
Probably Maggie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maggie's I think is the most protective. She's definitely the alpha here. She's Mama Bear. And so I think she'd probably, and if anybody was hurting me, I think she'd be the first one to, or them as well. She's just very protective. And I think they definitely feel safe with me. I think they definitely know, like I'm I'm the pack leader. But I also think they're very protective of me. At least I know she is. Mm-hmm. He'd be no help. If I was ever attacked, he'd be no help. But what's funny is, when I was working with trainers, we had a conversation about that protection. And he asked me, he said, do you want me to teach them how to attack people? And I said, no. I said, God, no, I want you to teach them how to run and hide. I said, because if someone attacks me, I'm not going to put them in harm's way. I said, so they have been trained to run and hide. We have a code word, and they know where to go, and they know where to hide, and they don't come out of there. So we do it every once in a while, yell the code word, and they go to the place, and they hide, and they stay there silently, and I give them a treat, and they come out. But I don't want them, I would never put them in harm's way, ever.
What do you think is harder, picking a ring name or a dog name?
Probably a ring name. So Maggie and Ollie came with their names.
Okay.
And Penny was originally named Sage. And I didn't like that because it didn't sound right to me. Ollie, Maggie, Sage. I wanted something to be very, kind of ringy with that. So I threw around a bunch of names, and then ended up naming her Penny Lane, but I thought Penny sounded great with Ollie, Maggie, Penny. And then Tallulah also came with her name. She was actually named by Millie Bobby Brown, who rescued her.
Really?
How Tallulah came to be with me is Chris Pratt was doing a film with Millie Bobby Brown, and she rescues animals up in Georgia, and she has an organization called Joey's Friends. And so Pratt knew that I was a big lover of this breed, so he hit me up and said, hey, would you be interested? And I said, I don't know, I've got 3 already. He said, okay, well, you know, my co-star, Millie, is trying to adopt this dog out. And I just kept staring at her, and it was killing me. And so I took her on, and I was actually out of town, and Millie hit me up. She said, so I said, I can probably be there in 3 days to pick the dog up. She said, oh, well, I'll have the dog brought to you. And so literally the day I got home, a car pulled up, they handed me Tallulah, and there she was. She's been with me ever since. But yeah, so I didn't have the heart to change her name. It's just, you know, Millie named her, and I thought it was such a sweet name, and she seems like a Tallulah courtesy of Millie Bobby Brown. Thanks, Millie.
Do you think you still have what it takes to Bautista bomb someone?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Do you want to find out? You hold these for a second. You're in good shape, right? No
Yeah.
neck problems, back problems,
no, I'm
nothing
good.
like that? You sure?
What's, right now? This is
Yeah, just
okay,
come here. Just,
okay.
no big deal. I'll land you softly. It won't be that bad.
Okay.
Just stand right there. You ready?
Yep.
I got to put on my game face.
Bautista kick to the midsection!
Cut the camera. I don't want anybody to see this. That works? Oh, thank you. That's so much fun. Yeah, I know, baby. I know. It's okay. We're just people playing. We're people playing. You know what's funny, too, is Maggie, like, even if I'm, like, on my phone and I'm frustrated because it's auto-correcting me and everything, and I'm, like, getting frustrated, she comes over and she gets concerned.
Very in
She
tune
doesn't
with
even
you.
like me to be upset, yeah. Hi, baby. We're just playing.
So did the WWE prepare you at all for acting?
You know, what's the funny thing is, I thought so, because my first acting gig was not my first film. I thought that I was prepared, and I'd been on TV for a long time. And I went and did this film, which was really kind of a favor to a friend, and I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. And that's where I realized how bad of an actor I was. And I realized I was a horrible actor, and I wanted to get better, so that's kind of where the fire was lit. So it's weird, but that's also why I love it so much, is because it's such a different type of performance. It's such an intimate type of performance. There's a different feeling when there's thousands of people in the audience, and it's big and it's broad, and I'm comfortable, you know, I'm confident with my physicality, but there's something else about being in a very intimate, closed setting, and people giving you these lines to read, and you have to kind of own them and make them your own, make them believable. There's something that brings out, you know, my self-consciousness, and, you know, it's such a different performance, but I still struggle with it a little bit, but that's kind of the challenge for me. It's like a puzzle that I can't figure out. When I first started wrestling, I was told that I'd never make it as a professional wrestler, and so that kind of lit the fire, and I was obsessed with, you know, proving that I could do this, not to other people, but to myself. And same with acting. It's like I just want to prove that I can do it and be great at it.
Out of everyone that you've worked with, who's your favorite actor to work beside? And I guess, why is it Cosmo the Space Dog?
You know what's funny is, not only do I love Cosmo, but I love the actress that plays Cosmo, Maria Bakalova. Again, obsessed with her. Her performances, she's a different level in what she does. But I don't know if I could pick a favorite performer. I can say that I worked with Jodie Foster, who I learned a lot from. You know, I love her as a performer, and I love her as a person. She's such a good human being. It's really weird that at 54, I'm like coming into my own as an actor, and I'm getting ready to work with Ben Kingsley.
Really?
And so when I think about, you know, where I started and where I've come, and getting ready to, you know, work alongside one of probably the greatest actors of our time, it's like, man, it's not only terrifying, but it just really, I don't know, it validates kind of every decision I've made throughout my career. I think everybody needs validation, you know.
What haven't you done that you really want to do?
I still really want to do, so I want to do a Western really bad. I've been trying to get after a Western for years. I've also really want to do a rom-com, which I think I'm on the cusp of doing. I might have a rom-com in my near future. And I've always wanted to do, the fanboy in me wants to do a vampire movie. So
You must travel a lot. What do you do when you're away from these guys?
That, you know, and that is the hardest part about being away, is being away from them, because, you know, even with family members, I can FaceTime, we can still communicate, and but I can't with them at all, and it kills me because they don't really understand why I'm gone for months at a time. So if I can, I'll bring them, but typically it's just really rough. But what I do and is, so the people that work with me always have pictures of my dogs everywhere. Like in wherever I'm staying, in my trailer, there's just everywhere, because they know that it's my happy place. You know, I will, even if I'm in the worst mood, having the worst day, if I see pictures of them, it makes me smile. It makes me happy. They're absolutely my heart, and they're like my children. And that's been the hardest part about leaving. So it actually, on this next film, for the first time ever, I've worked it out in my contract that my dogs have to come with me. And it's a real thing. It was something I fought for, because I didn't, you know, the film is over, you know, months, over 3 months, and I didn't want to leave them again for another 3 months. So we put it in my contract that it had to be suitable accommodations for my dogs, and I'd be able to bring them with me and travel, you know, comfortably. And so I hate to be that diva, but also, hey, these guys are my life.
I think everyone understands that.
Penny, Penny, come. Here, baby. Penny. Good girl. Penny, come. Good girl. Come on, come up. Good girl. Up, up, up.
Hi, Penny. So why do you think we love dogs?
Well, I can tell you why I love dogs. But I think it's kind of a big common answer. I think, I don't know. I think dogs they're so loyal, and they just don't require much, and they give unconditional love for very little. And I think that's it. I think they're just the best companions. I think they're just always there, no matter what. Any human can connect with a dog, and I think that's why I think it's, you know, a great phrase, you know, man's best friend, woman's best friend. The simple answer is they give unconditional love and loyalty for very little. Yeah.
Doesn't help that they're adorable.
And they are super cute. Did you ever see the pictures of Penny when I rescued her?
She had the collar, or like
yeah. It was it was really sad. I never planned to adopt Penny, but she was rescued by the Humane Society of Tampa Bay, and they put out a reward for whoever abused her, but someone left a chain. She was tethered to a chain, and I don't know how she got loose, but she ended up in a graveyard of all things. They found her trying to dig food out of a trash can, but she still had this chain that had been around her neck for so long that it was embedded in her skin. And so they put out a reward for this person, and I contributed to the reward. I was overseas, and by the time I got back, I called to check on her and see if there was any update on whoever abused her. And they said no, and I said, well, did anybody adopt her? And they said no, and I said, can I come down and get her? And they said, please come down and get her. So anyway, she's been with me since. She's my baby girl. Quite the pup grade, huh? Quite the pup grade. So she came in with a chain embedded in her neck, and she left in a Rolls Royce.
That is quite the come up, Penny.
Well, she deserves it. She deserves nothing but happiness. She's such a sweet girl.